When Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman premiered in 1993, its cast looked unstoppable, vibrant, full of life, and ready to change television forever. But in 2025, the transformation is staggering. Wrinkles, frailty, illness, and devastating losses now mark the passage of time. The cast is almost unrecognizable, and the truth behind their aging will break your heart. Jane Seymour as Dr. Michaela Mike Quinn. Born on February 15, 1951, Jane Seymour was 42 years old when she first stepped into the role of Dr. Michaela Mike Quinn on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman in 1993. With her fierce intelligence, polished elegance, and a fire in her eyes that matched the spirit of the American frontier, Seymour transformed Dr. Mike into one of television's most iconic heroines. Whether stitching a wound, fighting injustice, or navigating the complexities of love, she delivered every moment with a grace that made the character unforgettable. She first gained international attention as the Bond girl, Solitaire in Live and Let Die, 1973, and later earned acclaim for performances in Somewhere in Time, East of Eden, and The Scarlet Pimpernel. Known for her luminous screen presence and emotional precision, Seymour brought depth to every role she touched. After Dr. Quinn ended, she continued to thrive, acting in dramas, hosting lifestyle programs, writing books, and becoming a celebrated painter and entrepreneur. Her versatility made her one of the most enduring stars of her generation. Off-screen, Seymour's life has been filled with both triumph and heartbreak. She faced financial troubles, the collapse of high-profile marriages, and personal health scares, all while navigating the relentless scrutiny of Hollywood. Yet she remained remarkably resilient, dedicating herself to philanthropy, raising her children, and reinventing her career time and again. Now in her 70s, Jane Seymour continues to work steadily, admired for her ageless beauty, sharp wit, and unwavering spirit. Though decades have passed since she first donned Dr. Mike's iconic frontier coat, her legacy remains as bright as ever. Joe Lando as Byron Sully. Born on December 9, 1961, Joseph John Lando was about 31 years old when he first appeared as Byron Sully on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. With his rugged good looks, piercing blue eyes, and long, windswept hair, Sully was the quintessential frontiersman, strong, mysterious, deeply moral, and utterly devoted to Dr. Mike Lando. Gave life to Sully not just as a love interest, but as a soul scarred by loss and longing, instantly becoming one of the most beloved characters in the series. He grew up in Prairie View, Illinois, and worked as a cook in a Hollywood restaurant while studying acting. An early life of grit and persistence. His first on-screen role was a small part as a patrolman in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. He then gained recognition playing Jake Harrison on the soap opera One Life to Live. But it was Sully who changed everything. Throughout Dr. Quinn's 6-season run, Lando insisted on doing nearly all his own stunts, including physically demanding scenes like running on moving train cars, because he believed it made his character more real off-screen. His talents didn't stop. After Dr. Quinn ended, he starred in and executive produced the series Higher Ground, and continued acting in a wide variety of film and television projects with the same raw intensity. He has also been honored with a Western Heritage Award, Bronze Wrangler, for his work on Dr. Quinn. Off the set, Lando has led a grounded, family-focused life. He married Kirsten Barlow in 1997, and together they have 4 children. Though his relationship with Jane Seymour, his co-star, was reportedly complicated during filming, they have since maintained a special, enduring friendship. Lando is known by colleagues and fans alike for his humility, his work ethic, and his loyalty. Decades after his role as Sully made him famous, he remains active in the entertainment industry, but he also cherishes time away from the spotlight, preferring meaningful roles, creative control, and the simple strength of family life. Chad Allen as Matthew Cooper. Born on June 5, 1974, Chad Allen Lazari was just 18 years old when he began portraying Matthew Cooper on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. As the adopted son of Dr. Mike, Matthew was a thoughtful, sensitive young man struggling to find his place in a frontier town. Allen brought to the role a rare emotional intelligence. His expressive eyes and vulnerable voice made Matthew not merely a supporting character, but a heartbeat of the Cooper family. He started acting at the age of 7, appearing in series like Saint Elsewhere, where he played Tommy Westfall, a role that later became part of a well-known fan theory in TV universes. He also appeared in Our House and My Two Dads, becoming a teen idol in the late 1980s. His early career was decorated. He won multiple Young Artist Awards, proving he was more than just a cute face. When Dr. Quinn ended in 1998, Allen didn't immediately vanish. He continued with acting, taking on roles in TV movies and films, and using his platform to speak about important issues off-screen. Chad Allen's life has been marked by both courage and transformation. In 1996, he was publicly outed, a turning point that forced him to reconcile his identity with his career rather than hide. He leaned into activism for the LGBTQ+ community, using his voice to advocate for acceptance and understanding. Later in life, he made a bold decision. In April 2015, he announced his retirement from acting to pursue psychology. He enrolled in higher education, eventually becoming a clinical psychologist. Today, Allen lives a life far removed from the spotlight, focusing on healing and helping others. But the gentle strength he brought to Matthew Cooper lives on in the hearts of fans. Erica Flores as Colleen Cooper, Seasons 1 to 2. Born on November 2, 1979, Erica Flores was just 13 years old when she first stepped into the role of Colleen Cooper in Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. With her soft voice, expressive eyes, and a natural vulnerability, she immediately won viewers' hearts. As the eldest Cooper daughter, Colleen was a girl torn between childhood and responsibility, still grieving her mother while trying to make sense of the chaotic frontier world around her. Flores delivered every scene with such emotional sincerity that she became one of the most memorable young stars of the early seasons. Before joining Dr. Quinn, Erica Flores had already begun working steadily as a child actress. She appeared in series such as Baywatch, Melrose Place, and ABC after-school specials. But Dr. Quinn was her breakthrough, a role that showcased her depth far beyond her age. Her portrayal of Colleen's emotional turmoil and growth helped ground the show's early episodes with a richness that fans still remember. Off-screen, however, Erica's world was far less stable than the audience knew. As filming for the second season intensified, the demands of Hollywood collided with the personal needs of a young teenager navigating school, family challenges, and a fast-escalating career. Contract negotiations became a decisive breaking point. Producers pushed for tighter schedules and higher expectations, while her family sought better compensation and more flexibility. When the studio refused, the tension reached a breaking point. In a decision that stunned viewers, Erica Flores left the series partway through Season 3. Her exit was abrupt, so abrupt that fans were blindsided. One week, Erica's Colleen was tearful, tender, and beloved. The next, she was replaced without explanation. Behind the scenes, Flores stepped away, not because she lacked talent or passion, but because she chose her own well-being over the relentless pace of the industry. It was a choice many child actors never get the chance, or the courage, to make. After Dr. Quinn, Erica appeared briefly in a handful of TV roles, including Family Law and The Patridge Family Reunion, but the familiar spark dimmed. By the early 2000s, she quietly left acting altogether. Today, she lives a private life, far removed from the spotlight that once defined her childhood. She is reported to work in the healthcare sector and has built a life centered around family, normalcy, and peace, things Hollywood once threatened to take from her far too soon. Though Erica Flores' time on Dr. Quinn was short, her impact was permanent. Her Colleen remains the version many fans still cherish. Fragile, yet brave. Wounded, yet hopeful. A young girl growing up too quickly in a harsh world. And while Hollywood may have lost her, she gained something far more precious: control of her own story. Orson Bean as Lauren Bray. Born on July 22, 1928 in Burlington, Vermont, Orson Bean was 65 years old when he first appeared as Lauren Bray, the sharp-tongued, stubborn, yet secretly soft-hearted general store owner of Colorado Springs. With his dry wit, impeccable comic timing, and quietly aching vulnerability, Bean turned Lauren into one of the show's most complex and emotionally resonant characters. He was a celebrated stage actor, a frequent presence on The Tonight Show, and a beloved panelist on game shows like To Tell the Truth. His film and television resume stretched across decades, from Anatomy of a Murder to guest appearances in Desperate Housewives and 2.5 Men. He was also a successful comedian, a Tony-nominated Broadway performer, and a gifted storyteller whose charm made him a fixture in American entertainment. Behind that warm public persona, however, was a man who weathered profound personal pain, including battles with depression and the tragic death of his daughter, poet and filmmaker Susie Bean. He rebuilt his life through spirituality, writing, and a deep devotion to his wife, actress Allie Mills. Even into his late 80s, he continued performing on stage and television, defying age with humor and boundless energy. But fate dealt him a heartbreaking final chapter. On February 7, 2020, while crossing a street near his home in Los Angeles, Orson Bean was struck by 2 vehicles in a devastating accident that claimed his life at the age of 91. Hollywood mourned the loss of a man who had given 7 decades to the craft of storytelling. Frank Collison as Horace Bing. Born on May 14, 1950, in Evanston, Illinois, Frank Collison was 43 years old when he first appeared as Horace Bing on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. With his lanky frame, nervous charm, and unmistakable gentleness, Horace quickly became one of the most endearing characters in Colorado Springs. As the shy telegraph operator with a fragile heart and a lifetime of insecurities, Collison portrayed Horace with a mixture of awkward humor and raw emotional vulnerability. He earned a Master of Fine Arts in acting and performed in numerous stage productions across the country. On screen, he appeared in acclaimed films such as The Blob, 1988, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, and My Summer Story. His IMDb credits reveal a steady stream of work throughout the 1980s and early 1990s, where he became known for playing quirky, troubled, or offbeat characters, roles that required nuance, subtlety, and emotional intelligence. But it was Horace Bing that placed him firmly in the hearts of millions. Off-screen, Collison's life has been rich, but not without hardship. He grew up in a theatrical family, raised by an actor father and a director mother, but financial instability marked much of his youth. As an adult, he balanced stage work, film roles, and side jobs just to stay afloat, a struggle many working actors know too well. While filming Dr. Quinn, Collison experienced personal challenges mirrored eerily by Horace's own storylines: heartbreak, self-doubt, and the weight of trying to do the right thing even when the world felt impossibly heavy. Though not marked by scandal, his career has been a long journey of persistence rather than fame, a quieter kind of battle that rarely makes headlines but shapes a man just as deeply. After Dr. Quinn ended in 1998, Collison continued acting steadily, appearing in Carnival, Sons of Anarchy, Monk, Criminal Minds, Star Trek, Enterprise, and numerous films. He also became a published writer and remained active in theater, proving his passion for storytelling never faded. Yet in recent years, public appearances have become less frequent, and age has softened the once youthful lines of Horace Bing's face. While many fans remember him as the anxious telegraph operator with boundless earnestness, the man today is older, grayer, quieter, still kind, but marked by time Jeffrey Lower as Reverend Timothy Johnson. Born on March 19, 1963, in Casper, Wyoming, Jeffrey Lower was about 30 years old when he began appearing as Reverend Timothy Johnson on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman in 1993. As the town's moral compass and spiritual guide, Reverend Johnson's gentle firmness and internal conflict made him far more than just a preacher. He was a man torn between duty, faith, and the deep, unspoken love he harbored for Dr. Michaela Mike Quinn. Before Dr. Quinn, Lower's path had already been shaped by ambition and discipline. He studied at the University of Nebraska before transferring to the prestigious Juilliard School in New York City, where he honed his craft through stage work. He performed Shakespeare, including The Taming of the Shrew, Much Ado About Nothing, and The Merchant of Venice, building a foundation on classical theater. On screen, he landed TV roles on The Trials of Rosie O'Neill and guest spots on series like Quantum Leap. His work was measured, thoughtful, and deeply rooted in character-driven storytelling. Married to producer Karen Severin, he lives in Los Angeles, but his passions reach beyond acting. According to interviews, he and his wife even became general contractors and flippers, renovating homes together, a life far removed from the dusty streets of Colorado Springs. Yet despite the peaceful facade, Lower carried his own burdens. During his time on Dr. Quinn, his character Reverend Johnson suffered from blindness in later seasons, a tragic arc that echoed the real vulnerability every actor fears but must portray. Today, Jeffrey Lower remains active in theater and television, appearing in shows like NCIS and JAG, but he's chosen to ground himself in real life as much as on-stage Larry Sellers as Cloud Dancing. Born on October 2, 1949 in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, Larry Sellers was around 44 years old when he first appeared as Cloud Dancing on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. With his quiet dignity, deeply spiritual presence, and a voice that carried both sorrow and strength, Cloud Dancing was more than a supporting character. He was the soul of his people, a Native American liaison, a healer caught between two worlds. Before Dr. Quinn, Sellers lived a life rooted in heritage and ceremony as much as performance. Of Osage, Cherokee, and Lakota descent, he was not just an actor, but a cultural custodian. According to his biography, at age 28 he experienced a vision that led him to study the sun dance of the Plains Indians, ultimately reintroducing this powerful ritual to his Osage people. IMDb credits also show that he worked as a stuntman and actor in many roles that honored Native American stories, bringing a rare, deeply personal authenticity to his on-screen portrayals. Off-screen, Sellers' journey was as spiritually charged as the character he played. While working on Dr. Quinn, he served not only as an actor, but also as a technical advisor, especially on linguistic and cultural matters, ensuring that his representation was accurate and deeply respectful. But behind this calm guidance lay a life of struggle, preserving a fading language, fighting for traditional values, and raising awareness in Hollywood for indigenous voices that too often went unheard. As the years passed, he dedicated himself to this mission. He ran a nonprofit for Osage language preservation and led a missionary society committed to reviving spiritual and cultural traditions. Tragically, Larry Sellers passed away on December 9, 2021, at the age of 72 in his hometown of Pawhuska, Oklahoma. His death was met with sorrow across both the entertainment world and his tribal community. Colleagues remembered him as the heart and spirit of Dr. Quinn, a man whose presence on screen felt mystical and deeply rooted in his people's history. Henry G. Sanders as Robert E. Born on August 18, 1942 in Houston, Texas, Henry Gale Sanders was about 50 years old when he began playing Robert E. on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. With a commanding presence, deep, resonant voice, and eyes that spoke of both burden and hope, he brought to Robert E., the blacksmith and former slave, a raw dignity that made the character far more than a supporting figure. Sanders embodied Robert E. as a man shaped by trauma, yet driven by faith, loyalty, and a yearning for redemption in a world that seemed stacked against him. Before Dr. Quinn, Henry G. Sanders had already walked a road marked by hardship and resilience. According to his biography, he served in the U.S. Army for 9 years, including tours in Germany and Vietnam, where he was awarded a Purple Heart. After leaving the military, he turned to acting as a form of therapy and found his calling on stage, eventually working with the 2,100-square-foot theater group in Los Angeles, DrQuinnD.com. By the time he joined Dr. Quinn, he was already a seasoned character actor, with credits in film and television including Killer of Sheep, 1977, and guest roles on shows like Knight Rider, Miami Vice, The Rockford Files, and Matlock. Off the screen, Sanders' life carried the same gravitas as his on-screen persona. He navigated the difficult legacy of race in America, the weight of his past as a soldier, and the emotional scars that war leaves behind. On Dr. Quinn, Robert E.'s arc was deeply tragic. Once enslaved, he had lost children and faced not only personal grief, but the ongoing prejudice of frontier society. In the episode The Fight, Robert E. channels his anger and sorrow by stepping into the boxing ring, a raw, painful metaphor for his inner battle. IMDb. In Right or Wrong, the show lays bare his political and social struggle when he's asked to leverage his voice for change. A symbolic moment that underscores how much has been demanded of him simply to be seen. In his personal life, Sanders remained grounded and committed to truth. According to interviews, he treated acting not just as a career, but as a spiritual and emotional mission, a way to transform pain into purpose and to give voice to people whose stories often went untold. He balanced his craft with humility, all while raising a family and advocating for authenticity in his roles. Helene Udy as Myra Bing. Born on November 1, 1962 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Helene Udy was around 30 years old when she started playing Myra Bing on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Myra was the saloon girl of Colorado Springs, a rough, rugged exterior hiding deep wounds, fierce pride, and a longing for redemption. With her sharp edge, quiet defiance, and unexpected tenderness toward Horace Bing, Udy turned Myra into one of the most emotionally complex and tragically beautiful characters on the series. Before Dr. Quinn, Udy's path was far from linear. She began acting as a child in Canadian television for CBC and CTV, then studied at Montreal's Dome Theatre School before pursuing film studies at Dawson College. According to her biography, she moved to New York to take a role on the soap opera As the World Turns, a bold move that showed she was not just chasing fame, but building a deeply rooted craft. Her early screen work also included Canadian films and TV, with credits on horror, drama, and classic independent projects. Off-screen, the drama in Udy's life was as textured as her on-screen persona. While working on Dr. Quinn, she didn't just act. She produced and directed. She founded her own production company, 5K Films, and explored creative outlets far beyond Hollywood's frontier. But that creative freedom masked a deeper struggle, the tension between how the world saw her, as a fallen woman type, and who she truly was, a serious artist, spiritual, driven, and unafraid to challenge expectations. Udy's years on Dr. Quinn were emotionally draining. Myra Bing's storyline was full of pain, a life of lost opportunities, regret, and complex love, especially with Horace Bing. Their relationship was never simple. Love, betrayal, and redemption wove through their arcs, and Myra's easier-than-expected departure in later seasons echoed Udy's own desire to reclaim her narrative. She wasn't leaving because she failed. She was leaving to live her truth. Today, Helene Udy continues to act, produce, and create. Her career has taken her through independent film, theater, and even performance art. She remains deeply passionate about storytelling, often returning to her roots in experimental and community-driven work. Though Myra Bing is long gone from the saloon, her legacy lives on, crafted by Udi's fearless choices, spiritual resilience, and unrelenting dedication to being more than what others expected her to be. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey through the lives of the remarkable actors who brought Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, to life. Their courage, heartbreak, strength, and unforgettable performances shaped a series that touched millions and helped define an era of television filled with humanity, hope, and the fight for justice. Though time has changed them, and though some are no longer with us, the legacy they left behind still echoes like a whisper across the frontier. If this tribute stirred your memories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the moments and characters that meant the most to you. Until we meet again, take care, and may the stories they gave us continue to inspire, heal, and live on in our hearts.